Ready, fight! Superman wins. Okay, so I'm going to do some size comparison, starting with Aquaman next to a different Aquaman, the one with the hook hand. And personally, I prefer the hook hand Aquaman, in my opinion. And they both have the same legs, just different belts. And different torso, different head sculpt, obviously. Next one, Superman. This mold is the same as the Crisis on Infinite Earths mold, so it's exactly the same. And yeah, the only thing that's different is the cape. Right, and the head sculpt. And this one actually has paint on his belt. See? So they actually painted that back there. So there's that. And the Task Force Superman has the wires all on all corners, and it's double-sided, right? It's got one cloth this side and another cloth on the other side, and this one does not have a wire on the bottom. And Task Force does not have a yellow S on the back. He is supposed to, because in the game he did have a yellow S on the back. And I gotta be honest, I prefer just 2 wires, not on all corners, because this is fine. I can pose them just fine. I don't need the extra wire on the bottom, but that's just me, my personal preference. Before I forget, I want to do size comparison with this new Superman mold. If anyone is curious, he scales really well with Hush Batman and classic Wonder Woman. So there you have it. I wonder why they did not use Batman with this mold. They could literally use the first appearance Batman and just painted over that. You know what I mean? They could have done that, but I guess not. So anyway, yeah, they scale really well together. So now next is the Flash. That leg is so warped. So there's Kid Flash, and then there's, older version Flash, and they're both the same person, Wally West. So yeah, and they both have the same body molds, but different parts, like the boots are different. I would say the hands are different too. These are upscaled hands, so just a little better. And obviously, new head sculpts. Now next is Batman. Unfortunately, I don't have the Nightfall Batman. This is based on the Nightfall Batman. But this one does not have a sculpted bat symbol on his chest. So I do have Hush Batman still. And you can see the difference. Oh, this guy, Hush Batman, pisses me off. Just can't stand on his own. So anyway, this is Hush Batman, and this is, just Batman. Or even better, the video game Batman. So yeah, though they're both from the video game. This is Super Nintendo fighting game Task Force. And then this is Arkham Asylum Batman. So, I mean, this is Arkham Origin. No, Arkham City. So, yeah, there you have it. Video game Batman action figures. Both made from McFarlane, the one and only who can do this. Amazing. Alright, now I want to start with the sculpt and paint. And obviously, the sculpt of this Superman is not very good. I mean, it's sculpted nicely, but it's just the look of it just looks off. But, it's long hair Superman, so he's kind of ugly with that. But there you have it. It's glorious. The paint on his hair looks a little weird because it looks more purple. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like dark purple, like black cherry color. It's not a good look for Superman. He's kind of weird. Yeah, it looks very purple. So, yeah, and his skin tone is really orange. Like almost like just really it's not a bad color. It's very like saturated in skin tone color. So yeah, if you want to swap hands, well, it's not going to work because the skin tone is really dark, like really saturated orange kind of. So yeah, and then there's the obvious part is the paint. The paint looks questionable, and you can see it has really bad yellow dots on that one side, and another one here is so messy. It's not good. Not a good look at all. And I think the highlights are just too bright. They're way too light. If they just darkened it a little bit, like the white parts, it's too white. The contrast is just terrible. It's not a good look. The boots, the shading on the boots, not bad. But it's just really weird. It's like they used like PlayStation 1 graphics and not Super Nintendo graphics. You know what I mean? So, but it does look like a video game. It's just too much contrast going on the blue. So don't like that. And he's missing a yellow S on his cape. In the game, he has the yellow S. So they dropped the ball on this one. At least they painted his belt yellow on the back. They did not do that with Crisis on Infinite or Superman. So yeah, that's it. And oh yeah, and his jawline massive. I don't know if I like it. I don't mind him to have giant jawlines, but I think it looks kind of good to me. I think it looks, I don't think it looks that bad. I just think his neck is way too thick, way too wide. It looks like he has Mike Tyson neck, just way too wide. So yeah, that's about it for Superman. Aquaman has a kind of pretty interesting facial expression there. He looks disgusted, you know, like it looks like he looks grossed out. And then his hair is interesting. It's kind of cool. It's soft, so that's a good thing. You're not gonna get hurt handling this thing. So it's much softer, as you can see here, softer. So that's good. He can't look up that much, even when the hair swoops, because that hair in the bottom gets in the way. If you trim that off, because it's a soft plastic, if you trim that bottom part off, then you'll be able to get him to look up more. So yeah, it looks like Dragon Ball Z hair. So kind of wild. It's supposed to be underwater, but it just doesn't work as a video game character. You know what I mean? The shading looks really good on here. It's probably, it makes the most sense to, they got all the shading right. They even got some shading on his back as well. Not much on the legs. So yeah, I mean, I think it looks pretty good. And they give him new belt. I don't think I've seen this belt before. Probably brand new. I'm not sure. I think the digital version had this, but I'm not sure. And there's one thing that stood out to me, is that Aquaman symbol on his shoulder. Not really supposed to be there. They could have easily just made a duplicate of this shoulder and then put it on here, you know, but they didn't, because I guess they're lazy. And then there's that neck piece, which I don't think is supposed to be there, since he is a classic character, you know. So anyway, there you have it. That was interesting. No fist hands. He does not have fist hands. He has holding hands. So yeah, I think they did that so he could hold the Triton. So, and the Triton, I think he uses this in the Genesis video game, not in Super Nintendo Entertainment System, because in Super Nintendo he did not have this, but in Genesis he has this. So that's interesting. Now comes next is Flash. This is the one that has the least amount of shading. Like, I can't see any shading here. If you look close, you can see that they have it on it. Like, they put it on there. But I can barely see any. You can barely see the difference between the actual red plastic and the paint, the shading paint. And the symbol on here is clean enough. It's good. Better than Superman. That one looks really bad, really bad. But this is good. This is good. But the gloves, not good. Look how messy that is. It's missing some application on it. Same thing with this one. Just not clean at all. But the belt looks okay. It's still not clean, but still better than the gloves. And it's got shading on here. No shading on the back at all. And the trunks piece is a little bit of a different color compared to the rest of the red plastic. So it can be a little distracting. And then, what else? The head sculpt looks pretty good. It looks like they messed up on the paint because the white eyes, I don't know, I can't tell. Oh, they're supposed to be there. They are really pint-sized, like really small eyes. I don't know if I don't know if I like that look. It's not very good. But the wings on his head, they are really clean paint. So they do good on this one. The cell shading on this looks like crap. That is the worst cell shading I have ever seen. Looks so bad. So bad. But it's a good head sculpt though. Just ruined by that cell shading on his forehead. I don't like that at all. Not one bit. And one major problem I have with this figure, and I don't know if it's just my figure, and this leg right here is incredibly warped. Like it's so warped. It's really ugly. It's I hate it. I hate it. I hope I can fix it somehow with heat. I don't know how, but I'm gonna look it up and figure out how to fix that because I like this figure. I like the look of this, and I think his head size scales better on this body because the Barry Allen version from the Flashpoint wave, that head is way too small for my liking. So this head is scales better, and at least he has both fist hands. And they showed on the pictures, the pre-ordered pictures, where he had like the gun holding hand on this side or the other side. I don't know which one, but it's a good thing that this one in actual figure form, and it's a good thing that physically he has both fist hands. So that is good news. I'm happy about that. And I really like the yellow color on the boots and the wings. I think it's a nice shade of color, like dark yellow, kind of mustard and yellow, you know. It's a nice color for Flash. So now Batman. Batman looks really good. Probably the best one of the wave, simply because it is shaded just right with the right tone of colors. You know, while the others are not very good, I think Aquaman and this guy, I would say Aquaman and Batman have the best shading of the wave. They both have the best shading. So, anyway, and the bat symbol is clean, better than Superman's for sure. And then you can see the black, the dark gray, and then light gray, and then lightest gray at the highlight. And it just looks really good all over the body. Got cell shading on his boots, his thighs. It looks really good, man. I really like it. It looks great. And his teeth are clean, eyes are clean. They used some kind of printing technology on that. It's not good, but you know, what can you do? And the cape is fine. The material, it doesn't feel as nice as Superman's material. It's a little bit harder. But good thing is the wires are hard and tough, so you can actually post the cape just fine. The gritting teeth expression is a little weird looking, but it's good. I don't like the ears, the bat ears. I think they're placed a little too far in the front. It should be placed way back here. It should be up, like back here, not in the middle of the head. So I don't know. It's my little nitpick. And the cape should have been bigger, you know. Superman's cape is a perfect width, but Batman, he needs way wider cape. He has good length, just needs wider cape. But it looks good though. It's a fighting game character, so I think this is fine. And it looks really good. I like it. I think it's the best of the wave. And let's look at Darkseid. I have to bring. Darkseid looks great. I think compared to the rest of the figure, the rest of the body, his face is too much. It has too much white on his face. Like he bought his girlfriend's powder and just put too much on his own face. But other than that, the shading, it's fine. I think it's too much contrast, just like Superman. It has way too much contrast. If they darkened the purple sections here, just darkened it a little bit, it would look really nice. It's got shading all the way to his calves, not on his feet. No shading on the back, just the front. And yeah, I really like this head sculpt a lot. I like this sculpt overall, like the whole sculpt, top to bottom. It looks fantastic. It's just a perfect. It looks like the quintessential Darkseid figure to me. I'm not a fan of one thing I'm not a fan of is the arms. I think it's a very different texture compared to his face. So not a fan of that. But I do like the figure a lot. So looks really good. I forgot to mention that I really like the color, the dark color on Darkseid. There was another release of the exact same mold, but he has a cape on. I'm not a fan of that one because the colors are too light for my taste. It's too bright. I always see Darkseid as the one who has really dark colors. And I think it is very fitting for this character because he's so dark. He's a Darkseid, right? He's on the dark side and he's really evil. The other one with the cape, it looks like he's on the good side because of the lighter colors. I'm not a fan of that. So this is the better look, and hopefully they'll make another one like this, but with better articulation, maybe like new arms and no style shading, and no cape, of course, and an extra head with the lighting feature from his eye. That would be really cool to have. So yeah. Now, the one thing I want to talk about is articulation. But when it comes to this particular video, I'm not going to cover the entire articulation on every figure in this video. Okay, I don't want, if I do that, then it will make this video last as long as an hour. So I'm going to go over the most important aspects of the articulation points. Certain points of articulation that I think are bad, and that's all I'm going to talk about. Okay, so Aquaman, he has bad articulation in the neck. He can't look up, even with that swoop. And his ab crunch is okay, but he does have a lot of range other than the ab crunch. So it's good. He does have double jointed elbows and double jointed knees. So there's that. And his legs can kick up a little bit, which is not too bad. The trunks piece is a little more rigid. So you can't kick all the way up. And he does have good ankle articulation. So he can stand on his own, just a little weird when you try to put his ankles into ankle pivots, you know. So it's just up and down, and you can do ankle pivot. It's just a little more awkward to do on this one. Now let's talk about Superman's articulation. Superman has mostly good articulation. He has double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. But one stands out to me is the ratchet joints. These joints are very ratchety. They are very hard to move. How do I say it? They're very hard to move around. I'll show you for an example. You move this, you can hear a lot of popping sounds. Hear that? And it takes a lot of strength to move it because they're so. It takes strength to move the arms around and the legs to the knees. See that? The knees are worst. You can try this. Hear that? Very ratchety. Ooh! Takes a lot of strength. And it takes the fun out of posing this figure. So if you're thinking about like doing animation, I would try to get the joints a little more loose, just only in the elbows and the knees. They are very ratchety. The ankles are not bad. You know, you can move them just fine. It's just the knees and the elbows. Oh, it's very tight. See how much strength it takes to move it? Now I have to move it back. Woo. Takes a lot of strength. And another thing I don't like about the articulation is the top of the thighs. He keeps pinching the trunks piece. As you can see here, if I kick him up like this, you can see it's pinching it because there's not enough length in the trunks area. So I have to constantly do it like that. Looks really weird when I do it. What is that? Let's get a closer look. See this? The hell? That is not good. Not good at all. How is this? How did that get scraped off? It's just red piece of plastic. Really weird. And it's kind of warped on that side right here. Just terrible. Terrible. And shoulders move fine. His head articulation is limited. He does look down. There's range in that. And he does have some mobility. He can move. He just can't really look up. I mean, he can look up a little bit. It's not too bad. I mean, articulation is not bad for a head with long hair, so it's not that bad. Superman's torso is really bad. He does have double ball peg inside. Believe me, I have the exact same mold, which is Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I popped the chest off because it was so loose. I popped it off. He does have double ball peg. So there's ball peg up here and ball peg down here. And it still can't do ab crunch at all. So if you're thinking about doing it, don't. You will make it more loose. The more you try to force it, it will still stay the same in this area. So yeah, this is the most you can do for ab crunch. That's it. It's very frustrating. So it's going to be stuck in that area. He can arch back, and that's good. He does tilt, side tilts, which are very good too. And swivel, I would be careful with the swivel because it can split the middle. As you can see, I'll show you will here. It will split this part right here, so just be careful with that. But yeah, that torso, just don't push them forward too much, or you'll make that area really loose. And now, Flash. He looks up, not very good. He doesn't have very much range in the head area. He does look down, and tilt is good. He's got double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, and it's ratchet. It's got a lot of ratchet, but it's not as bad as Superman. So you can still pose him and things like that. He kicks up, yeah, but not as much. It's almost, you know, kind of like that. He does have ab crunch, but not much. A little better than Superman. With Superman, you can kick up much further. A lot further. See? But not with Flash. So, something to keep in mind there. Now, Batman has really good articulation. He does have ab crunch a little bit. Not much, but better than nothing. Better than Superman's. It can arch back. And he does look up. Pretty good. Not bad. And, you know, pretty much elbows, knees are double jointed. The ankles, however, the ankles are a little loose. It's hard to explain. It's got ratchet, but very light amount of ratchet. It's not as hard as Superman and Flash, but it's got some, and it's pretty good. It's not bad. It's pretty good. Yeah, there's knees, elbows, hands, move just fine. So it's good. He kicks up, but not as much. Kind of like the Flash. It's a teeny bit more rigid than Superman's trunks. This one's a little bit more, it's a little tougher. So yeah, good wires. Yeah, it's good articulation. Side to side, back arch. Yeah. Swivel. It's good. This is good. This one has good articulation. It probably has the best articulation compared to the others. So this has pretty much all the articulation down. So there's that. They all have double, they all have toe hinges. So there's that. Now, Darkseid. I would say Darkseid has the worst articulation out of the whole wave. The absolute worst. It is really bad. At least he can look down. He does have ab crunch, even better than Superman, which is funny. It does have side to side toe. It does have a little bit of a swivel, not much. You can't go that much further. It's like that, and it just stops right there because the trunks piece is way more rigid than the other four. He does look down, and he looks up a little bit, not much, and side a little bit, and turn a little bit, so it's very limited. He does have T-pose, that's good, and when you rotate the shoulders, you'll see that it actually scratches the plastic. As you can see here, you see the plastic right here? It was literally being scratched by the other plastic piece. There's another sample right here. See that? It was being scratched up because something is on there and something is sharp and it's just scratching it up. So, see that? See that? So that's not good. And It's got ratchet, and the elbows are really hard to move. I mean, you have to take a lot of strength moving this elbows. It moves. Hear that? Very loud. The swivel is a little tight. It doesn't feel nice at all. But he has good hinge. But very limited. It's not as much as the other ones. You know what I mean? Because this one is more like Hasbro's Marvel Legends hands. And another problem I have with this Darkseid figure is the legs. I can't kick his legs up. Like, for real. That's it. It's already stretching the plastic. See the plastic? It's already stretching it up. So that's as far as you can go. Very limited. So if you want him to sit down, it's not happening. You can't get him to sit down on the throne or something. Ain't happening. He has very little thigh swivel. He does have a little bit of split, which is fine, but he just can't kick up. It sucks because I want him to do like the fighting pose, you know, kind of like that, but it's so limited. And it's ragged, it's ratcheted as well. Yeah. It's not as bad as Superman, actually. Believe it or not, Superman is way more tough at the knees and elbows. This one is not too bad. And the ankles is decent. Yeah, it's good ratchet, and it's not as tough. And it's got swivel and toe hinge. It's more tough. The toe hinge is actually, it has a tougher ratchet, but not the ankles, which is weird. So anyway, yeah, so there you have it. And this one at the elbows, this one has a swivel as well, so you can bend it like this or like that, basically. So yeah, and that's as far as you can go. Single jointed elbows. So yeah, he can stand on his own pretty good, actually. It's a pretty good figure, but as a person who just stands around all the time, that's it. That's all he can do. So when it comes to accessories, all you're getting are these. These are all the accessories you have out of the whole wave. And, you know, the Build-A-Figure parts for Darkseid. That's it. So the only action figure that actually has an accessory is Aquaman. And he comes with a Triton. And these are accessories too, yeah, sorta, but these are just punching effects, which are cool though. They're soft, so you can put them right on the hands. They're cool though. Let's do some poses. So my opinion about this wave is that it's a pretty good wave. I mean, they all serve a purpose except for Flash. Flash is the only one that's not really cell shaded like the others are. So it's kind of like disappointing. But if do I recommend it? I would say not really. I mean, if there was one figure that I would recommend, it would be the Flash. And that's only because he is not really cell shaded like others are. And it's the only Wally West Flash that actually looks like Wally West Flash. And it's a good head sculpt. And it's got a good symbol on his chest. And new sculpt on the boots. I mean, it's a good figure. Just, the other ones, they're cell shaded though. They look like video game sprites, especially Aquaman and Batman. Superman is pretty good too. Superman reminds me of the SNES video game sprite of the death and return of Superman. And I have fun memories of that game. And it's a good game. It was really, 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 really hard, but good game. Darkseid looks good. And if you really want Darkseid, I think you should actively try to look for it, but in the store. Physically in the store, because do not order this wave online. The reason why I said that is because they are going to send out random platinum pieces, which would be they are pitiful. They look awful, just absolutely hideous. I have never seen action figures that look that ugly, and it's very disappointing. So if you don't want to look for this wave, I would say you're not missing out much. They're not amazing or anything like that. They're just one-of-the-mill action figures. Just really bad paint application of 8-bit video game characters. So I like them because I have played those games, the Task Force and the Death and Return of Superman. So I have fun memories of it, so that's why I have it. And Darkseid. Let's not forget Darkseid. I got this because Darkseid looks like the most quintessential version. So that's why I had to get him. Anyway, that's it for the review. And it is a long review. Sorry about that. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I hope I see you again next time. Take care.